And welcome to the first CNY Sesh cast, brought to you by Green Room, Flower Coop, Tip Hill's Finest, Blazing Violet, a whole bunch of other folks, and we've got the crew from McBurger over here. Okay, so let's start with the full Instagram handle. Can you give it to me again?
Yeah, the Instagram handle right now is Beard Belly Blitz because they took down the actual McDruely McBurger Bun.
Of course, they took the great one down.
I've been too lazy to remake another one out of defeat, so I just sort of rolled over into my food blog, which is sort of like my personality to begin with. So I need to simmer down on the MPD over here. But McDruely McBurger Bun. That's the monkey, the character that embodies me when I'm at these shows providing our products, I guess you could say.
Perfect. And you are?
And I'm Chris.
Perfect.
I'm Chris, yeah. Thank you for having us, Chris. I appreciate it.
And we've got his partner.
I'm Harley.
Yep, so you'll either see one or both of them at the table.
Yeah, we're going to be covering a couple
events this weekend.
Oh, yeah, you guys are all over the place. So
Yeah.
All right, so, and let's get into it. Pot history. Chris, we'll start with you. When was the first time you smoked?
It was actually like my senior year in high school. Was hanging out, skipping. I was big into skipping before I was big into puffing.
I love skipping.
So we used to just chilling. Like I never really got into it, and then my buddy kind of talked me into it, and then first time was out of a can. Obviously, nothing too special. Back before there were strains that you could physically get, you just get whatever the guy gave you. But yeah, I mean, didn't start until after my academics and stuff like that. It definitely fascinated me, and then I got further into the culture and stuff like that.
Nice. And how about you?
I didn't really smoke weed till I was like 19. So I was like kind of an honors kid in school and stuff. And then I was out of school for 1 year, and I had been at college, and I still kind of avoided it. I don't know, people offered it all the time, but I was always either drunk and I didn't want to crossfade because mad sick. But yeah, my friend's stepdad was like one of the more well-known growers out near like Utica. He'd like grow in like apartment complexes. It was like this like genius idea, it's just like with all these like power amp sinks for his electricity and stuff. And he had some headband. And he was like, if you're going to smoke weed ever, like this is the weed to smoke. And we smoked, and one of our friends showed up and was on probation, and I was like, don't smoke. Like, even I know, don't do this. And he did, and then he disappeared in the mall, and I spent $32 on Chinese food. I didn't get high at all. It just all was the same texture. So I bought another plate because I was like, maybe it's just what I picked. No, I didn't realize like what was going on.
I love that first feeling of, did I get high? But
I sent it too. Like, it was good. It was za for the day,
Yeah, I joke that back in the day, the only question we would ask is, can I get it till Friday? I mean, can you front me? There was never a question of strain, what flavor,
We're just so excited to get it because we've been waiting hours and hours for the guy to finally show up with it.
Exactly.
They really used to just not care.
No, the marketplace has completely changed to definitely a much more customer centric.
Yeah. Kids got it easy these days.
I've like skateboarded people's stuff. Like I'll meet them downtown on a skateboard. But back in the day, it could be days. And sometimes it would just come in wrapped up in like an Aldi like plastic bag.
Oh,
there was not even Ziploc bags. Sometimes you'd get a quarter of like the worst, shakiest brick weed, just like burnt up.
Yeah, I remember the bricks.
Oh, the Jamaican Red, you mean?
Oh yeah, we'd come up with something named for it. Remember when the only name we had was Dro? It was like, that's hydro. So anything good was hydro, and it's like we didn't know what hydro was back in my day. It's like, it's definitely hydro.
We always looked forward to like the Christmas tree bud, like at the end of the year, like
the fresh harvest. Yeah. This was actually a discussion that happens like a few times at these shows. Someone's like, back in my day, you can only get good bud like once in a blue moon, and they literally just meant like have a harvest time once a year, like. if you were lucky and someone was on top of their stuff, maybe before Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, it was definitely when whatever random outdoor crop that you gathered, did your best to, dry and cure, and then hope and pray. I mean, that used to be the growing style was, it's like, how do you grow? Prayers?
Yeah.
Yeah, or know someone who's been doing it for years, and then a lot of times, like, they don't even want to tell you.
Yeah, the sharing of information was definitely minimal then. Now you can just literally...
Well, we can do this. This is amazing. Like, we can just talk about...
Yeah, now networking has gone so much further than, like, keeping my secrets in my hidden little recipes and this and that. But, it's all about, networking nowadays to try and push forward,
Yep. What else? Sorry. So then with the we'll call it the legal scene, what was your first event around here that you showed up to? And
actually, my boy, homie, shout out to Sourcuse, big up, one of the most humblest guys I know, for real.
Oh my God, I love that guy.
He actually asked, I was like, hey man, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? He finally was like, all right, I got you. I helped him with, I think it was the Can of Art 2 was my first event that I actually vended. And we were all crammed underneath like a circus tent, and it was a very dusty fall day. But it was a good event. It was fun.
No, the Can of Arts were great.
Yeah, they were great.
They were fun events.
Lots of fun. And then after that, sort of piggyback off of my homie Too Zooted for a little bit. And before I was just doing my hard candies because that's what me and Harley connected over. We used to work at a call center together, and I was making the hard candies to sort of like help get through the day. You know what I mean? And yeah, we just went with that. I was trying to find table space to just for my hard candies. Then we started branching out in other creative concepts that I was working on, and eventually I needed to get my own table, and thankfully they're able to get me in there. So that was nice.
Yeah, it's nice how it grows, and you basically, I've noticed that certain people start with a product. And I always say to somebody, even some of the smaller growers, I'd say, reach out, find a vendor that you have a relationship with already, and just say, will you carry it? I mean,
yeah, it's always just asking, and networking and working with different vendors is always the better way to be successful rather than compete. Competing is just impeding your own growth in a sense. I've noticed myself at times I get a little frustrated at the competition of these events, but it's what strives us to be better persons individually and stuff like that. So everything's about growth,
Yeah, I've had one vendor. It's like I'm willing to compete against myself even. I'm just
exactly.
trying to,
Yeah.
It's like I just want to grow and figure out, the best way. And especially with that, I mean, it's with you, I notice it's a great test bed for, this marketplace. I tell other people too, it's a great test bed for products.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's things that I've never thought of carrying again. People will constantly ask me for, so that is an attest to that. Absolutely,
it's beautiful. I mean, you're basically you have access to, essentially, I mean, a free or a pay. Somebody's paying you. Oops, sorry. Did I just cut out my... Okay.
Yeah, it's essentially paid research and development in itself.
It's like free market research to essentially, like, you got to think people are going to come here and, like, they don't have a problem dropping $200 on, like, top shelf weed for an ounce. So they're most times also not going to have a problem trying whatever treat you have for, like, 10, 15 bucks.
Yeah,
especially if you appeal to, like, something they really like. Like, recently, we just made chocolates in the shape of Lego bars, and, like... It's just whatever gets people going. Like it's just
fun.
infused chocolates. It's delicious. It's great, but like the shape has really like accessed a lot of people, and I don't know. It's helped me at least look at our treats differently and like put the extra like work into like aesthetics of them.
Yeah, my wife does chocolates also, Blazing Violets, and she did little stars, and it's just like she designed them to be a bedtime treat.
Oh, these are the ones that you were
that I was handing out.
Shelf testing.
Yeah,
you gave me. Those were really good.
Yeah, she's great. I mean, she's spectacular with that. But so along that. So was that your first market too? Was Canacuse or
no? So my first market was
not
like
Canacuse. Sorry, Can Arts.
No,
Can Art 3.
It was the one in Holland Patton.
Yeah, his first show was Can Art 3 then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was when I had my own. We were on our own by then. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing, like how much things have progressed. Because like that show was great because there was a lot of outdoor vendors who had like sort of food truck-esque situations going on. There was like One Slice was out there making like live food, but like it was just like low preparation still, like early on in the game, and like all of the event planners who were like involved with all these other events have really pulled everything together. Like now there's always water, there's things without weed. Like
Yeah.
that was my problem the first few events, because like I like weed. Since I started smoking weed, I've pretty much smoked every day, at least a little bit, unless I just like could not afford it. It's just too helpful to my like function. So I show up and like Chris at first is like, listen, we're gonna like get you up to like sales, and like until then just like consider anything here like payment, like just we'll get money when you can sell essentially in my stead, and I can go do another table. So like I was just getting destroyed for several events, and there was the first time at the green room, it was like I was walking around and I think it may have been you. I was like, man, please, is there just anything that doesn't have weed in it? Like I just need a drink, a cracker, just somebody have like saltine crackers in the cupboard or something. Like I was dying because we still hadn't figured out food yet, and like just like really quickly it's evolved into like a fully functional festival sort of experience. There's like paid trained security guards that work for companies and like take care of, like some of them work with politicians and shit. Like they're
professional.
it's not a joke.
It's not-
Yeah, like all this stuff, like for the first few weeks it became a joke that one of the security guards would like demand to wand me. And I always have to be like, I work here, man. And he's like, no, I don't care. I have to until like I fully recognize you, and that's cool. So I'm glad, happy to see like the progress constantly happening. with
Yes,
these events and stuff.
I mean, each evolution of the events, they've stepped up, they've gotten better, they've legitimized it. I mean, a lot of it was learning curve. I mean, starts out a bunch of stoners getting together and going, hey, should we all get together at this one spot instead of...
Well, and you know how that is, like planning it and getting everyone there on time, and like
just, yeah.
some of us don't even have cars.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I know at the beginning of my day it's always interesting. I expect it to be a bunch of errands. I've learned to keep stuff like extension cords, power strips,
Oh, that's why I
water
carry
bottles.
my backpack everywhere now. Like, I don't even often have like anything on me, but like I always have a scale because I know like I'm around people who are gonna be like, shit, I forgot my scale. Like, can I borrow yours?
Yep.
Yeah. Or can I get a cup? Or
I have a sandwich bag.
Bags,
Yeah,
sandwich
exactly. The thing of sandwich bags in my backpack. You know.
I gotta find a set of those like vintage McDonald's plastic cups. You remember the like octagon ones? Keep them in my backpack for when people are like, oh, I need a cup. Like, here you go, man. Don't lose this one.
Or just get out the old, if they need scales, we'll have to pick up a bunch of the old postage scales.
yeah. There's actually a vendor that was carrying those for a while. I was kind of like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
It's nice and retro. I mean, you better include a nickel for calibration, you know.
Right.
Because I had to explain that to my daughter when I started referring to, you know, a quarter ounce as a nickel. And she's like, "What? Why do you, like, go eighth nickel? I don't get it. It's like, what's the reference?" I'm like, oh, it comes from the fact that a quarter ounce weighs, and a nickel both weigh about 7 grams.
If you were like busted broke in the 70s, like you probably would have just used like a weight balance scale, and that's like how you would have calibrated it. The old scientific ones, like you would have just stole one from the chemistry lab.
Beam.
Oh, that was the old, the good deal or the cool guy? Oh no, you know he was professional when he stole this triple beans from the science class.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew he had his shit together. I mean, but
You knew he had it together when he stole from the local government.
yes, exactly. It's like you knew he wasn't buying them because back then, again, we're talking pre-internet, eBay, and everything.
Yeah, there's probably maybe in a magazine or something, but obscenely overpriced. Like, unless you were already into buying weird chemicals and glassware, like you're probably not coming across.
Smithsonian.
You might come across it at a lawn sale where somebody else had stolen it from their school. But
Weed dealer estate sale.
look for the old science teacher. Yeah, along the lines of events, they definitely have evolved. I mean, that's been interesting. So I'm gonna end up asking everybody.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys end up at Alien Opera House?
Before us, yeah. Before,
Okay.
we were never. I know the gentleman.
Yeah.
but-
So the legend that I know all that. There's been the whole splits and all that, but it's just. I love to. That's one of the first things I always love to ask somebody. It's like, okay, did you make the Alien Opera House? Because that was like kind of
This is like deep lore I've never heard of.
So Alien Opera House would have been the first event space that to my knowledge, that came together. This would have been pre any other event, even like pre Green Room. That.
It's like 4 years ago or something.
No, it's just over a year.
Really?
Literally, this all has happened over the last year. So it would have been around December.
Last year, yeah.
Yes, of the previous year. So basically, coming out of the pandemic, that would be, for me, it was just a life-changing experience because we had just done, the 2 years or so locked in the house under pandemic and, I got kids and stuff. So even us, it was just living our life, but none of the fun stuff was going on,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah, it's pandemic is basically life as usual, but slightly shittier.
100%.
And a lot more antisocial because you're just like, yeah, no, don't talk to me, don't get near me. I just,
Yeah.
you got kids, I ain't fucking with this shit. So,
Yeah, I think my COVID experience was mostly collecting Funko Pops and Pokemon cards.
oh God, I'm right with you on that.
So yeah, that's what we were doing. We were doing a lot of box rips and Pokemon and stuff like that. That was my first experience with Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, so now we gotta. This is the fun thing. So what years have you go to New York Comic Con?
I went to New York Comic Con 2 years ago. Yeah, MetaZoo just first came out. It was a big TCG that we were chasing around.
I'm trying to think. Okay, that would have been one of the few years we didn't go. I think that would have been right before the one right before the pandemic.
2019.
Yeah.
No, it was during COVID. Yeah, it was 20.
Oh, okay.
2020, yeah.
So it was the one where it was masked up still.
Yeah,
then.
you had to go to that checkpoint and with the app and all that fun stuff, and then you had to go wait in another line, and then they have you all down in the basement. And then everyone starts running up the 3 levels to get to the main floor, and I was up there. I was one of the first couple people in line.
It is insanity. We didn't go to that particular year, but yes, it's New York Comic Con is definitely one of the an event. I would say even if you're not a comic book, if you're into any sort of pop culture or just if you're into the concept,
even to
of
a little bit of it, there's so many fandoms to fall in love with there. It's insane. I had a lot of fun with the Tokidoki people. I never would imagine that I'd be hanging out with people who are dressed all up in Hello Kitty and stuff like that,
No, you never know who you're going to end up, finding. And even that, it was fun the first few years of last year we went, and it was amazing because it's like, oh my God, I can smoke pot at Comic-Con. My two worlds have collided. I mean, it's like...
How did they work that? Could you, I assume you couldn't smoke in the event center, but you could smoke outside?
Yeah.
There's a little they had little, meet and greets and, different stuff set outside and food trucks as well.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they have, kind of a cordoned off...
I didn't really do anything during COVID, so I was always curious. I was just working all the time. I was a mailman, so I didn't really get time off.
Yeah, it was just
too bad. Good luck, buddy.
Same thing, life but shittier.
Yeah, so I didn't really go to very many events, but I watched a lot of this transpire through Chris's lives and stuff on the internet, and that was actually one of the things that reconnected me. Seeing him was interacting with that. So then the algorithm's gonna show me more and more. But yeah, it was exciting to see absolute madhouse even getting the fact that you got all these boxes was pretty phenomenal luck.
Yeah, we were chasing.
And
like I said, MetaZoo just came out, and the second set was released, and the booster box came out 2 weeks before the event, and I scalped a bunch of them off people just waiting in line, and no shame, I spent a good chunk of money on these boxes, and we did live rip and ships just right on Twitch, and Whatnot was a big streaming service that we did openings, box openings, and stuff like that. And we opened 2 boxes. We did $3,500 just in that one stream, and it paid for the trip itself. So
No,
it was
that's
awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but
No, I've done the standing in line to get the particular
just,
Funko
that's
Pops.
literally all it is.
Literally
Just waiting in
to-
line, exclusive chase
for
everything.
hoping.
Yeah,
You know, same thing. Looking for the
Yeah.
chases. But yeah, no.
we got into a lot of my girls into Tokidoki and stuff like that with the Sanrio. We were into those those claw figures, other stuff like that, like Funko sodas were a big thing that I was into too. Yeah,
Yeah, I've got probably, I don't know, 150 or so of those Funko Pops sitting in my garage. It's
they
like
just take up too much space.
That's exactly it, and then you want to keep them in the box. And then, so yeah, basically, my Funko Pop addiction was actually broke when, the day of the first time we went to Alien Opera House. So in the early days, it was like a lot of gift bags and stuff like that, which was...
To kind of avoid, like...
No, they just to build the like hype of it. So
I get you, yeah.
So what happened was one day I was on Reddit, and yeah, of all places, and I actually remember shout out to Lumberjack Trading Company, I think it is, out maybe Buffalo way. He was one of the vendors, and happened to mention this cannabis event. I'm like, wait a second, what?
Yeah, it's too good to be true.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my first instinct was
This is a trap.
Exactly. No,
They're taking
it's a
people's
trap.
pictures.
It's like how is this? But it's legal now or whatever, technically, and it's in this. We're
Just
still in this-
unenforced, so like, the risk those people took. Good
So-
for them, but
So yeah, oh no, it had to have been, the most stressful thing thrown on the first one. And it was something like 30 to 40 vendors. It was the first
that's
time
a lot. That's so many.
all in this one building, and it was the first time also I've ever seen, consumption indoors.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels extra good.
Yes. Really, I joke. An event needs a few things, and it's like you need excellent parking.
Yeah. That's been the downfall of any sort of stuff that's gone bad is 100%.
Parking.
They don't care. They watched me walk out, like they've seen several times. They've watched us pack obvious units into boxes and not care about that. But they're like, you going to leave your car parked there? Because if you are, I'm going to tow that shit.
It's gone.
That's all they care about. They don't care
I don't
about
care
the
what
rest
the
of
fuck,
it.
what you're putting in it. It's all I care about is park where you're supposed to. So that was definitely, and Alien Opera House was held on a Sunday and directly next to a church.
That's
so
fun.
all these potheads out of the blue
Showing up
showed
at
up
church.
and they would encourage you to get there early. So like the first 25, 50 people get in, similar to the way Cuse Bowl does it, would get a free gift. In this case, it was a gift bag.
Yeah.
And so they'd go to the vendors and collect, So you get anything from seeds to concentrates to
well,
flour.
30 to 50 vendors. Like, there's
It was-
a wide
it would-
variety of what
Yeah, a lot
each
of people-
person's going to think of giving up,
Samples.
Yeah, with little samples and everything, but still, and at that time, just still mind blowing to, as you're walking through and you're like, wait, I was just like, how does everybody have their shit together already? It was just truly amazing. And then I'd walk around it and you'd just talk to everybody, and everybody, it was opposite of every other venue, every other event I've ever been to in general, which is everybody's friendly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's something I love about this community is like, even when we were talking earlier about competition, like even our biggest competition is like, I'd like even hesitate to call us frenemies. Like we're definitely friends with them, like even the people who dislike us, like there's still like a joking camaraderie between us.
Still
like,
a vibe.
Yeah, we can still hang, and like they've still purchased things from us, and we've purchased things from them, like in a pinch or in a spot, like just to keep the whole thing going for everyone. Like we all work really well together, despite everyone's personalities being so wildly different. Like if all that brings you together basically is weed, is like y'all got some kind of collective problems.
Yeah, really, that's true. And I've definitely seen that as different markets have grown and evolved and specialized and went to, all different routes and even different vendors. It's like that's the one thing I've noticed is for the most part it has been very little conflict over the last year.
Almost none that has escalated to a point. Like the only situations that ever escalated were, I think, dealt with like really quickly.
Yes, and
there was hardly any actual. The only one I've heard about, I wasn't around for it, was like that got like pretty violent or whatever, and people got like their stuff taken like that. That was the only time. After that, whatever happened, they handled it, and no one has considered doing that shit again, which is good.
Yeah, people went their own separate ways. It was just a single isolated incident.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but any of these things, it's progressively become less and less explosive or whatever when it happens, and to the point where it doesn't really happen now. We just walk away from each other.
Because the market, it's really interesting how the marketplace has just leveled itself out. If there's a particular, even with like vendors, if there is a vendor that isn't being, direct, honest, and everything is passing off product as what it isn't, it becomes quickly known. And even among the community, I mean, just the word is out there. Everybody's so interconnected. It's pretty amazing. I mean, the first time I went to that Alien Opera House event, I saw a couple people walking around. I'm like, they're, shaking hands with people, hugging, I'm like, oh, they must be the organizers. Holy shit, okay. It's like, no, they're just other people, and that's
just still they're connoisseurs and fans of the.
Over the years, think about like your most loyal like clients. When you really add up like all they've given to you, granted that that's not all profit to you. A lot of that is just sometimes to move product and keep yourself afloat. But some of these people like $300 every month or whatever for a couple like mid ounces or something for years, 12 years. You know what I'm saying? That's a car payment. They're basically giving you a car payment a month. Like, these people love you. It's not just they keep coming back to you because they really do care about you.
There's definitely like, repeat customers and stuff like that that are like truly, passionate about, what you're doing as well as what, you being passionate about it doing. And like that feels better than making the money itself, I feel. Yeah.
No, I definitely agree. I can see each week. I mean, hell, I saw the message, when you got the big order on the cotton candy. And it was just like a little mind blown. It's like, it's exciting. Not just getting the order, but I could tell it was the fact that you're like, oh, Cody did this on his podcast, or on the stream. Yep. And, getting that review and actually getting that feedback is definitely, I can see as a vendor, pretty incredible.
It definitely gave me I was like ready to quit, a couple weeks ago. Every so often, big fan of Harley keeping me going. Some days I just wake up, I'm like, I'm not doing this. I was like, I don't even care.
Do something, man. Like when he did the cotton candy, I was like, perfect. Like I personally, I'll spin it. I don't like spinning it. It's just, you're stirring a pot for hours, man. But I was like, this is just like simple, and like he can wake up on his worst day and put some moon rocks and some alcohol and make some RSO sugar. Like it's not difficult, but it is unique because like who wants to go through the steps of making cotton candy? Like pretty much only us.
Yeah, you definitely have to be feeling it and to put the love into that product, and it's fun. I mean, it's interesting. You did the chocolate covered bacon there.
The candied bacon was a big hit. I gotta get back into
that. Have we ever done chocolate covered bacon?
No, it wasn't chocolate covered. Okay, sorry.
We should do
candied bacon. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we should do a chocolate thing, but no, peanut brittle was a big thing. Like a lot of people were angry that I didn't have the peanut brittle at my table. Like, what kind of shit is this? Like,
we had separated for the day, and it was the first time that I was like doing my own. He was like, "You sure you got this?" And we had just about everything, and I was like, "Yep." I thought there was one more package of peanut brittle in case someone wanted it. And this lady who's always comes up to our table, a little older, but she walked up. She goes, "I know you got that peanut brittle for me today." And I was like, "Wait, I think I do." And I tore these bags apart, not a single package. So I was like, I'm sorry, we don't have any more. That was the last one. Like, I was gonna give you like the bottom of the barrel, like last one that we had. She was like, you gotta be kidding. Is he gonna make more? And I was like, I don't know. He's been kind of talking about like just doing it holiday and like
It seemed more like a seasonal type
Yeah.
of item.
Yeah.
winter, not just seasonal, but at least winter. And she was like, she like swore at me and like stomped her feet and pointed, and she was like, that's bullshit. You need to tell him that he needs to make peanut brittle all year long. It's just a very like we were saying about the market research. Like, I never would have guessed that people were like, I need infused, insanely infused, because like that's one product where we really don't measure. There's no way to accurately like dose it out with the peanuts and the way that the candy. I mean, we know roughly what we put in, but like these people are getting housed on this peanut brittle.
Yeah, because this the peanut brittle. I mean, I'm used to making like my pieces of hard candy. They're like tiny or whatever. Like I'm now factoring out a batch of peanut brittle. Makes a lot less units per, and that math is a little.
It's just different. I'm gonna try to like be a little more. I've been keeping a journal of each batch we make, so like I know what the current chocolate bars are and what the previous ones are, and so on. But for a while there, we were just like taking them and then being like, "This feels like 350 to me.
This feels a lot
This
more
feels
than
like
that.
1,000 to me."
Yeah, my wife did that with the chocolates early on. It's like when we first switched from using a butter and then just using literally now she just takes
Straight concentrate.
She takes a live rosin and just gets it decarbs. Mm-hmm. That gets it nice and flowing, and she basically just turns it right in and
just pour it right in while it's melting.
Direct, yeah.
That was what I did the other day, and it went like super smooth.
Yes, it's
especially if it's a chocolate that has fat, like a higher fat content in it. Like, I find it's much easier to just work them together.
Oh yeah, I'll give you a nice secret off air.
Oh, nice.
Very
yeah, we don't want to
simple.
share. We don't want to share too much.
I'll give you a little trade secrets off air. But so yeah, basically, yeah. For me, Alley and Opera House, like I said, was life changing simply because all of a sudden I was amongst a community that was friendly. So I'm like, oh wait, I don't have to be guarded, pissed, angry.
Hundreds of you in a room too. Like
Yeah.
you're at most like on some great barbecue or family holiday. You're rocking 6-7 deep.
You're hiding in a corner.
smoking a blunt in the woods.
Yeah,
like that's
exactly.
best case scenario. Me finally be able, like at Christmas this year, my cousin was like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I vend. I make like confections, like sugar treats and candies and stuff like that." And my other cousin, who kind of is a little more intuitive, was like, she laughed and goes, "Grandma, your son's a drug dealer." And I was like, "Well, technically, it's not a drug; it's a plant." And I had a license for it, so if you want to tell Grandma, you don't have a license for selling weed. It's cool that like to see some of that at least lifting, like the hiding it. You don't have to be like as stigmatized about it. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's a huge difference going from, at least, as we've said, I've always said it, at least treat us like treat it like alcohol, bare minimum. That's
Or
all I'm
cigarette
asking.
smokers, like cigarette smokers
we're
get
nasty
treated
fuckers.
Get treated
And
pretty bad, but like weed is way worse. People will be like, "I can't believe you're smoking weed." Like for years, my gram was like, "How bad for you?" and showing me all these articles, and I was like, "Yeah, there's definitely negatives that I'm gonna acknowledge here with like this, but there's so many positives that you won't even consider."
Or the hypocrisy. I mean, how many of us have gotten, yelled at by our parents for when they found our stash,
and then they take it and smoke it,
and then you find their stash, and you're like,
Or what's even worse is when you have younger siblings and they have the weed in the house,
and then you
it's
catch the blame.
Wait. Yeah. No, not this guy.
That was my sister over when I would go visit over the summer. Like anytime her and her friend would go sneak out and smoke weed, they'd blame it on me. And I was like, "Yeah, I am smoking weed, but I don't smoke weed in the house. Like, because I'm not afraid of mom catching me smoking weed. I'm smoking it on the porch. It's obviously you, sis."
Yeah, no, I definitely, even as a parent now, my daughter is, of basically just below legal age of pot, but to that age where you're like, okay, well, if she's drinking alcohol or whatever, as we were growing up, I wouldn't throw a big fit. So with pot, though, I was just like blatantly truthful with her. I'm like, here's the deal. This shit's fine. Everything else, evil. So you just go, okay, trust me on this one.
Yeah.
Although nowadays, like, really watch out. Like, you can't just be like doing like blunts of za.
No.
Like it definitely will affect your brain chemistry. Like I'm one of the first people to admit that there's like some negative consequences, but I think if used with like reasonableness, much like alcohol or any sort of thing out there.
Dropping freaking THC bombs on your freaking THC receptors, you're just you're
messing with so many systems, your lymph system, your digestive system, your sleep and melatonin, like a bunch of your hormones change. Like there's definitely risks in just smoking the icky, sticky, dank stuff like every single day. I mean, I don't know how Snoop Dogg does it or Willie Nelson. Like there's some people out there that are just built different, but like I don't like people going out there and like seeing if they're built different, because like it's once it's too late.
No, I definitely casual consumption. I mean, but
yeah, no, but you're definitely like on the track with like not tabooizing it or like making it too bad. You said your daughter, right?
Yeah,
especially if she's like you can't, then you don't want her going nuts either. Like it's so easy and accessible now. Like you can get really really dangerous like doses out there.
Yeah, definitely.
For instance.
Yeah, some of the stuff that we have, like some people just want. I'll do it. I'll eat 1,000 milligrams or whatever. I'm not a fan of it. It's too much for me.
It's a lot to take on. Yeah, it's.
But yeah, there's some people who are like 1,000 milligrams. That's not enough, bro. I'm like, I don't know what more you want from me. Like, I can just like we could inject the RSO or something. Like, there's not really much more potent than we can get.
I was gonna say licking the spoon on the
that was my biggest thing, is like making these and like trying everything while it's being put together. Is like it's a triathlon, when you got a couple different things you got to get through, and it's just like, oh man, I still got this to go through.
There's definitely a lot of
you don't want to tap out either. Mm-hmm. Like I had to tap out one night. We made pies, and like it was one of those situations where like we had to make a big batch, and like it's kind of hard to judge how much frozen fruit is going to reduce, like especially if it's mixed or like different fruits and stuff. And these mango pies, man, I had a really bad time, and like since then I've been like, I'm just going to take a small amount of whatever we're making.
Yeah, he was like, I'll have a full one or whatever.
I'll just do it. Like, might as well find out. And like, what a bad idea. And that story alone has made people be like, I will take 8 of them. Like this one lady was like, please make them as strong as you can. So I made them stronger, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't.
We have yet to seen her since, though.
She hasn't texted me. And I'm like maybe a little worried. Like if I messed up, Stephanie, I'll make you new ones. I'll make better ones, I promise. But like if they were too much, I'm also sorry.
I've had people like specifically ask for like low dosage, like 5 milligram gummies and stuff like that. And like you don't really see those a lot. And I hooked a friend up, with them, and she was like, I was like, yeah, I ate a couple of them. I totally forgot how to like brush my teeth at one point. I was like looking at my toothpaste and toothbrush and like, how does this work? I was like, all right, I hope it was enjoyable. She was like, yeah, my yeah.
And she only took 5 milligrams?
Oh, she had 3, I believe. So
only 15?
15 milligrams. Yeah,
it's wild, the difference with some people.
Yeah, so you got to definitely, there's 2 different spectrum of milligram too, because there's basically, it's like the infused versus the, what's the best way to put it?
There's actually a couple different ways. So like you could be working with like an extract.
Yeah.
Which is going to give you like a more just straight THC dosage. You could be working with like RSO, which is going to be a mixture of THC and the other cannabinoids. Or you could be doing like distillate, which is like a lot of the cheaper treats we see out there. Like that's what it's just so affordable to do. But that's going to be like I would say it's going to be similar to using extracts like dabs or something, but it's like even speedier.
But like, so even there, like 500 milligram
Of those three
of,
different things
like on
is
the
all
table
different.
there, the gummy rope.
Yeah.
So like something like the gummy rope we talk about, that's what, what's that rated?
It's 600 milligrams of
600.
THC,
Right.
but
So
it's
that's
1,000 milligrams of RSO. So there's other entourage
CBD,
effects that
CBN,
yeah, because we
lot of
do
CBDs.
we do a gummy that's a multivitamin actually with 10 milligram.
yeah.
Yep.
That's an
And-
ideal to function dose. Like this,
Yeah.
that dose is for sure medicinal. Like I ate a chunk maybe 2 inches long today, and I'm like still feeling it several hours later. And
And RSO is an entirely different monster than most of the extracts that people don't really think about using. It's like it's a beast in itself. Like it literally will dehydrate me from the inside out in a sense where I'm like cottonmouth. I'm having like
it was these, right?
yeah. Those,
Can I
the
open
Nerd
these?
Bucks,
Can I have
please.
one of
Yeah,
these?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to experience this. You on?
Yeah, I'll try one.
So yeah, he was
got
like
there?
basically just took all the little pieces that they're little niblets.
Oh no, I bombed.
Oop, sorry.
No, that's on me for being too clownish.
Yeah, what the hell?
Oh, goodness.
When in Rome. Not like
When in Rome.
they don't taste good at all. I mean, I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, I love them. But
Let's straight medicine.
speaking of the tolerance, yeah.
We'll be gone after this.
See, I'm one of the ones that I often say I like it. We have another discussion like that, which is, do you prefer to have the weed taste or not have the weed taste?
I'd rather know that it's in there predominantly, rather than wondering if I should probably take another one.
If I know who's making it and I can trust them, like if it's him, I would rather not taste it.
Because
I find it's too spicy. Like it really kind of tears my like mouth up. My gums and mouth are a little sensitive. So like THCA, once it's all like decarboxylated is like a pretty acidic compound.
yeah,
So it's gonna, especially with hard candies, it's gonna like tear your mouth up. It's what makes them absorb so good and hit so hard. But like, I prefer it just being like pretty much indistinguishable from whatever it's supposed to be like, which we've accomplished on like quite a few treats. But like, just with the candies, it's not really possible.
no. Yeah, chocolates and certain baked goods, you can definitely hide it better. We
Gummies, it's like impossible. That's why, like, to be honest, like I don't make my own gummies because
We just know someone who's got it way better than us.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
he knows what he's doing,
Same.
and what.
I mean, I assume we can say shout out.
Yeah,
Shout out
shout-
Urbane.
yeah, Urbane, yeah, Urbane, he's the man.
Oh, Urbane's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
same.
yeah.
No,
Yeah,
shout
but
out
a lot of people like similar to how a lot of people like will just grab our candies for like handouts or like to have on their table as like fallback in case they run out of other stuff. Like I don't know. I know so many
Zombieland
vendors.
gets a lot of my hard candies and just to give away to his and he eats them himself and he's like they smack, like. that
And
means
a
lot to
ton
me.
of people
Yeah,
similar with Urbane. Like I think each vendor kind of has their thing. Like if I wanted a bunch of chocolates, I'd probably come to you and your wife for like chocolates.
No, exactly. There's certain people that
They just got
definitely-
their process down on whatever it is, and like we trust them. Like some other people might carry like some competing to just make money for people who
Yeah.
like are willing to spend that money. But
Consistency
like,
is the main thing. I feel like I could live or deal with like a lesser edible as long as I know it's consistently that milligrammage, or then I can set that expectation for my customers or whoever for that matter.
Definitely, the level's gone up, especially over the last year. It's been interesting watching people, really step up their game, and it's went from we used to walk around. Me and my wife would go to these events, literally, 2, 3, 4 a week. I mean, there would be Sundays where in Syracuse there'd be 3 events going on, smaller events going on. We'd hit all 3. And we'd be walking around, and she'd just be kind of like, don't. She'd look at something, pick it up, and don't buy it. They can't cook. And you'd see those people would kind of disappear, and other ones she'd look at. I mean, she's been a great judge of character on that, and just
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that person's going to be around.
Yeah, there's a few set of questions that like I suggest like everyone to ask. You know, the person that they're dealing with is like asking, you know, like certain steps that they take to do, you know, like decarboxylating. Like, you know, I said, oh, so you decarboxylate, and they're like, what the hell does that mean? And then, you know, like they're obviously
they're skipping an important step, which like is going to result in less
or
potency.
if they use like, you know, stabling agents like lecithin and stuff like that to enhance the bioavailability.
You also
like,
want to know that, especially if like medicinally, if you're taking like blood pressure medicine or things that might interact,
yeah, because
especially
we don't
with
want
lecithin.
anyone to have a negative experience, you know.
Yeah.
The I don't know what to call it, like racing heart is like my most concerning
the
part of
flight syndrome. Yeah.
Part of consuming cannabis in any way is like that's what I'm trying to avoid for people, and I really shoot to understand, I guess, like what's activating that. It seems to be a lot of THC.
Yeah.
It's a psychedelic component, and it's just like turns it on for them.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to green somebody out, basically. And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
it's just,
Yep.
I try to tell, you know, understand your own tolerance versus, and as the producer, obviously, it's like try to understand what you're putting out, because a lot of people, especially early on, it's like you get something that, oh, no, it's you know, a couple milligrams, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, especially my experience with the syrups and stuff like that. It definitely was a very strong learning curve with those. Just, you know, knowing everyone makes their own syrup, and yeah, you know the goods out there.
And yeah, what do you got there? The cart markets definitely have evolved too.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you see
nice
like
seeing local now.
brands come and rise and are heavily counterfeited, or you know, people are, you know, working their own brands. Like we do. My buddy Mojo Jojo does the liquid crystal.
Mojo Jojo.
Yeah. He does liquid crystal for me, and he does. They're all ceramic, and they're good hardware and everything. And he took my Cinderella 99 Life hash rosin that was like, you know, we did a really, really small batch of, and he did
start to end. That was very cool to see, like a full, like it's in full packaging with like warnings and stuff, and like New York stamped and stuff. Like he's trying to anticipate anything they're gonna ask of him, and it's been really cool. You know, he's been trying to be conscious of like. We were thinking disposables originally, and he said he would like consider it, and then he came back and like, you know, he seemed really apologetic talking to me about like, sorry, I went with the cartridges and the batteries, and I was like, nah, dude, it's fine. You know, that's better. You know, anyone can use any battery in this case as well.
Yeah. I'm a fan of I like the carts first. Complete.
It was
throwing away
sketchy
the
for a
batteries.
while there, back like 2016 through 2018.
Oh yeah.
You could have just got like anything. I swear, I definitely did some research chemicals in my day through there. That's the other thing that's good is like I've not really seen or come across anything that's not weed. You know, like anything that's like very obviously synthetic, you know, or whatever, you know, else you could pass off. Like you're mixing it into edibles and stuff. Like you're placing a lot of trust in who you're buying these from, especially.
I also know a lot of these cart companies like Torch and stuff like that actually had like a period of time where they're making THCO and THC acetate and other THCBs. And
thankfully mostly labeled.
Yeah, thankfully.
Yes.
Yeah. So people can
But just to
pick
be
those out.
aware, like you were mentioning, asking steps people take to their like edible goods, like definitely asking in those things, like, are they legitimate? Like there's no problem. I personally think like if you're out there, you should strive to buy the official product because like they have to follow regulations and rules. And even though it may be the out-of-date stock or leftovers or what have you that they're sending over here from other places, like at least it's legit and you know they had to follow the rules making it. Like if you are going to buy counterfeit, at least like know that it's counterfeit. Try to do your due diligence, because like if you're just going to like take a rip off a cartridge, you know, like make sure you trust your boy, I guess,
Yeah,
or your
seriously.
girl, like whoever's hooking you up, like make sure that they wouldn't do anything that you wouldn't do. Is probably a good rule to live by.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, as the market evolved, there's definitely
There's so much
you're getting a
opportunity to
nice-
like do
Oh, yeah,
bad
yeah.
things, but I'm glad that people haven't. Which I guess I really didn't expect very much different from a bunch of stoners. Like we really try to do the best
Yeah,
in most
I mean-
situations.
Yeah.
It's like we're not the greatest, but we're gonna fucking try. I mean, it's like, but yeah, as the market evolves from almost nothing
Yeah.
to seeing finished product and everything. To
No, it's just like seeing like other people like Mr. Z. He does a lot of reviews
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and Highly Addictive Cannabis was doing the Bud Wars. That
They're
was
still doing
wicked
the Bud-
cool.
yep,
They're still
that's
going
still
through
going
that. Hell
on,
yeah,
yep.
yeah, I love those dudes, and his wife is amazing. She does a lot of cool stuff with the.
You
lighters and
entered
stuff.
something in the Bud Wars, right?
I put the frost.
I know you're a little, like, hurt about
went up
it.
against PAX Junction, the pre-roll dude.
Oh,
He had
gosh.
the tangy, and I got ripped to shreds on
Dude,
that.
I'm sorry. PAX.
It was a better bud for the situation, but yeah, no, I
PAX
felt
is, as I joke about, he's besides making incredible slushies,
oh yeah,
an incredible curator. I
Yeah.
mean, he comes out with along some stuff, and it's just like, oh
Was Jamie from Pre-Roll? Or,
yeah,
Yep.
PAX
Yeah,
pre-roll,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I actually found out like just shooting the shit with him that he's actually the PAX Effect, and he used to do live PA sets at the Westcott Theater, and it would open for Spangle and Iodo
for
and
Spangle.
yeah, and I was like, dude, I used to get down at your shows, bro. And he's like, oh yeah. So it was kind of neat to reconnect over those days, you know.
You mentioned that, so I used that as an opportunity to go, I took my daughter to see the Taylor rave
Yep,
over at
yep.
the Westcott. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, how'd they do that? He starts asking me technical questions.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, their light setup good? I was like, oh yeah, they got good lasers, man. We were waiting as it was beginning, because it was kind of weird, because you're at an event with a DJ, but they're playing music beforehand, and it's kind of Taylor Swift, so I'm like, has the show started yet?
Yeah,
I mean, how do
yeah.
I really know? There's not
Those
somebody-
T Swift fans are like insatiable though. They
Oh.
they wouldn't care if you put on like 3 albums in a row before
Oh,
the
they
show.
were-
They'd listen to the 3 albums backwards and upside down if you asked them.
Yeah, they were definitely into it. I mean, well, fine. Us Taylor Swift fans, we were all into it.
I like a couple of her tunes.
Definitely when some of the hits came on, I was joining in.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a couple. I was live streaming throughout some of it, and what caught me on camera, he's like, I happened to tune in as you were going, this is really going to piss people off, because I kept cutting in and cutting out to force the Instagram live to keep going. So-and-so's went live. THC Mavens went live.
Yeah.
And kept ending it just to break in with Taylor Swift. I was like, it's kind of like Rick rolling, but
Yeah, no.
little Taylor rolling.
I was tuning in for sure.
But yeah, he was asking about the setup, because he's like, yeah, it's been a long time since I've done any of that, but
He was talking about starting his own little soft surge spot in Fayetteville called Techno Cones. So
Soft
yeah.
serve ice cream?
Yeah,
soft serve
like
ice cream.
Infused?
No,
No, just straight up. Yeah,
straight up currently.
You should talk to him about the infused,
I mean, maybe in
I'm
the
sure
back.
he's already got that covered.
Yeah,
well,
he may be working on that out back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely this summer we're gonna be rocking with some custard and some fresh homemade custard with some duck eggs and stuff like that for real.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll do that.
That'd be
Hell yeah.
sick.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
see,
no,
I
that'd
learn
be a
about
ton of
plans on
fun.
the fly. I like the duck egg thing, though. Like, how wild do you think that we can take it? You think we can get, like, an ostrich egg?
I know of an emo farm.
You can eat an emu egg, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is it, like, you think it's richer than a duck?
I don't know, it depends on the diet. You know what I mean? Like what they're eating. If it's like,
Okay, this emu farm that you know, are they, like, reputable?
Oh yeah. They're reputable. Like emo farmers for sure. Yeah.
Emo farmers.
Emo farmers.
See, this is the direction I went, exactly where I wanted. I was hoping the podcast.
Yeah, no, like,
when I laid it out, I said, I'm pretty sure we're gonna go down, emo farms. I mean, we're gonna definitely be. It's a bunch of stoners talking.
Yeah.
Well, Chris has a history of, like, doing kind of a bunch of wild homesteading stuff. Like, you had ducks for a while. You had...
Goats.
Yeah.
Ducks, goats, pigs, cattle. Yeah. I even had a ram that got loose, and he's living wild in the Adirondacks, and the local school ESF, or no, what is it? Paul Smith's. They have them, and they routinely check on Leo, and I get pictures of Leo like yeah, the ram, just living along with the wildlife up there in the wetlands.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he's still out there.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we tried chickens, but just one season, and it was like, this is enough.
I feel like it's a lot of dedication. You got to have like...
It's a lifestyle for sure, yeah.
Yeah. All of the people I know who do any sort of successful, like, even if it's not homesteading, even if they just want weird animals or whatever, like, they usually end up buying a house and then just, like, dedicate it to, like, being kind of far away from other stuff, so they're incentivized to always work on that. I just want, like, weirdo fancy cuisine, like emu eggs. Like, I'm sure it's not good. I'm sure it's bad, but, like, maybe if we bake it into something, it'd be really good. Yeah. Otherwise, there'd be emu eggs. Like, that's too... It's
especially
too meme, eggs. With the price of chicken eggs, like what nobody's tried to market a bigger egg.
It's too death grips.
It's too strange, too disconnected.
The problem is, I just not off the top of my head. When you first said emo, I was like, my first thing that popped in my head was a llama. So I was like, are llamas and emos the same?
They both have the side swept bangs, definitely.
So I'm like,
llamas are mean. They spit.
Yeah, but one spit in my aunt's face one day. It was pretty funny. I thought it was funny.
I'm just glad they're not laying eggs. I mean,
yeah, no, llama laying eggs would be a concern for sure.
That's like, I'm gonna just call dibs on jam band name.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, llama laying eggs. It's not bad. I hate jam music, so it'll probably never happen. But someday maybe I'll like discover the secret. Llama laying eggs will happen, but
it's never. Early on, I was kind of pissed at Dave Grohl because I thought Foo Fighters would be an awesome band, and then he came out with it, and I'm like, "What the fuck? I was going to use that," and then I realized, yeah, he kind of put it to much better use.
Well, Foo Fighters is it's a cryptid.
Yeah,
So
it's about like aliens and stuff.
I thought this had to do with also like military. Something or other. I thought there was like some like division of
it. It basically
like flyers.
It started with like when
I don't know too much. You
early
guys inform me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Planes
I just know
and
that
shit.
Yeah,
they find a UFO
sightings and stuff like that. Where they're
that's what they would like refer to them as.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, man. It has definitely been a good chat.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Just getting called about.
We wrapped it up with the cryptid thing.
Yeah,
what do you know?
I like it.
That was another thing that we were going with, like our thing's the sewer-gator. So,
So speaking
New York
of
City
that,
sewer-gator.
And speaking of shout out on that, got to shout out Kirby.
Yeah, Kirby. Yeah.
I love Kirby. I met him at Unplugged. He was doing the. Gave me probably the greatest thing ever. Gave me a little. Art clip because he was doing a group photo, and as soon as he did the one of me, I'm like, oh my god, can you send just that? So I isolated out the background, and I've got
he
pictures
drew a couple cryptids for us. Yeah,
I've got a couple pictures of me floating around as Iron Man in every pretty much movie poster.
That's awesome.
I just wipe out Robert Downey Jr. Fuck him, and I do it better, and replace him with my Kirby Iron Man.
Oh yeah,
Kirby's great. I know we have a couple pieces that he's like he did them kind of on a whim, and then he came to us and he was like, finally got this done, sorry that took so long, but also like I don't know, maybe if you guys want to do like more with them, I kind of got like really into doing this design. So like we're like trying to think of like something like fully in depth that he could like do, because he seemed to want to send it, and the ones that he sent us were a little rudimentary, so I think he was like, I'm just gonna upsell him. And honestly, I'm good with that. Please always upsell us, Kirby.
Absolutely, yeah. For
definitely.
Stand behind your artwork like that. It's definitely
he's great.
Definitely interested in running a series of packaging with his art on it for sure. Yeah.
All right. Well,
thank you so much, Chris, for having us on, man.
I gotta say thank you
Inaugural
guys.
episode, first time.
Yes, thank you for coming for my first episode. I was like, okay, I need a couple guys I know I can at least shoot shit with for an hour. So I'm like, I've got a list of other people. It's like I want to put on, and it's like at the show, you see everybody at the shows, and I see everybody for like 5 minutes. I start a conversation with somebody, and
then to the next table,
a customer comes along, and I'm like, I have always, since the beginning, I know I have a tendency to babble and just run on. So I could stand there and talk to you, but then I'm like, and certain vendors, unfortunately, are the same. We're all potheads, so
Oh yeah.
we'll start talking. And so I had to train myself to, mainly through my wife, shit, somebody's right here. No, I gotta go. And I act like, no, I have something so other important to do. You need to, you're priority.
Yeah.
So
This is going to be good. I think this is going to be excellent because you're going to get a ton of different views, ton of different experiences, and like people who run their businesses completely different as well.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
planning
absolutely.
on having same vendors and actually a lot of just people I've met through standing in line
For
to
sure.
see all of
Yeah,
the
People who show
vendors.
up all the time. You know?
Because from day one, I mean, we've always made it a point to get there early, show up, and just sit down. And first thing I would do is have a joint before ready. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. Yeah, we're good.